Good morning, children. So now we are going to see the poem 3. So it is one of the interesting poems because it is really it relates to the nature. The poem, the lines written in careless finger. Okay, okay. Before we have to discuss. So usually, so in this image also it shows the beautiful plants. That means the nature. So have you loved the nature? So yeah, so everyone loved the nature. So without nature, we couldn't live. So we depend the nature because the nature has produced the plants produce pure oxygen and control the noise pollution and other pollutions and avoid the soil erosion and we can get fruits, vegetables, medicinal things and so on in etc. And it gives rainfall. So in many ways, the nature has helped to the human beings. So we depend on the nature. We have connected with the nature. So it is we are closer to the nature. So the nature is God. The nature is God because so the human being depends the human and the animals depends the nature. So without nature, we can't or we couldn't live. We couldn't live. So we are closer to nature. The nature is God. In nowadays, some of the greedy men, the ambitious people, destroy the forests and cut the plants. That is for his ambitious earth. So they have destroyed the forests. They have cut the plants, the trees, and the animals entered the towns because the people extended the living area. So the people entered the forests. So the animal entered the town, and we can face the problems. In nowadays, we can learn from this nature. Some of the nature happens. That means the tsunami and a earthquake. After the global warming, after only we have realized it. So we must plant the tree. We do not cut trees. So after we have created the slogans and followed it, the slogans save life. That means the save plant, save life. If you kill the nature will kill you. If you save the nature will save you. Plant a tree. It will get a pure air for the next generation. So we have created the slogans and created the awareness to the people. So do not cut tree. So one family, one tree. So like so on. So we have created it, the awareness to plant a tree and save the earth. So now we are going to see the poem Lines Written in Early Spring. So it is one of the best poems of William Wordsworth. It relates to the natural. Okay. Okay. Now we are going to see the poem, the tree. Lines written in early spring. So which is written by William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth. He is one of the best poet writers. Okay, before we discuss the questions, so do you go for leisurely walks? Yes, everyone has followed. So walks, walks regularly when we have your leisure time. So we walk. Okay. The next, if you are a city dweller, what or who would you expect to see on your way? Yes, in a city dweller, they export, they export the trees and plants, and they can live with the trees, with the plants, and they want to see some of the birds. When the plants gives fruits or flowers, automatically who came there? The birds and the bees gathered and they made the sounds. So it is very amazing. That is the singing bird, the nightingale, cuckoo, like. So it is, um, the sounds are very amazing. So they explore to hear the among the songs. They can see the fields, the paddy fields, and they can live with the plants, the flower. That means the trees. They can enjoy with the trees. So, like so on. Okay, next, if you go to a village, what scenes would you observe? Yes, if you go to village, we can observe the fields and the lives of the people. How did they behave? Is entirely different from the city. They have showed the real emotions. So we can observe it and the fields and the grove areas. That means the grove of trees, the group of trees and cattle and so on. So we can enjoy in the village, in the atmosphere of the village. Okay, let's see the poem Lines Written in Early Spring, which is written by William Wordsworth. So let's see about the author, the William Wordsworth. So William Wordsworth, he was born 7th April 1770. 7th April 1770, and he was died 23rd April 1850. So he was born on 7th April and he was died on 23rd April. The life period 1770 to 1850. 1770 to 1850. He was a major English poet. He was a major English poet who, with the Samuel Taylor Coleridge, helped to launch the Romantic Age in English literature with the joint publication Lyrical Ballads. He has collaborated with the S.T. Coleridge, the Samuel Taylor Coleridge. He has made the Samuel Taylor Coleridge, that is the turning point of his life of Wordsworth. So he has collaborated, he has joined with Samuel Taylor Coleridge and published the poems, the lyrical ballads. The publication, lyrical ballads. Lyrical ballads. The William Wordsworth works are enjoyed by youngsters and elders and that means adults. He surely reminds us one of the most important and favorite poets. Yes, the William Wordsworth poems, the works are enjoyed by youngsters and the adults. Youngsters and adults. And he surely remains one of the most favorite persons, one of the most favored poets, one of the most favored poets because everyone, the adults and the youngsters, liked the poems of William Shakespeare. So William Shakespeare's works are inspired by the youngsters and adults. He is one of the most favored poets. Okay, have you understood? Okay, the next Wordsworth was Britain's poet laureate. So he was a poet laureate in Britain. So what is the term? It refers the poet laureate. It is officially appointed by the government, typically help to compose the poems in specific events or any celebrations. So that is, it is officially appointed by the government. So it is officially appointed by the government, the Britain's government. So the Britain's poet laureate, அவை புலவர். போயட் லாரட்ஸ்னா என்ன? அவை புலவர். ஸோ தமிழ்லன்னா சங்கம் அமைக்கும் போது புலவர்கள்லாம் இருந்தாங்களா? ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு அவை புலவராக தான் யார் இருக்காங்க அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா வேர்ட்ஸ்வொர்த். So it is officially appointed by the government, in the British government. So Britain's poet laureate from 1843. In 1843, he was appointed by the Britain, the poet laureate of Britain in 1843. Until his death, he has continued until his death. He has continued until his death. So he held for the rest of his life. He held for the rest of his life. And he was popularly known as natural poet. He is called a natural poet. He loves the nature. So he has wrote many poems about the nature. So he is called a natural poet. He is called a natural poet. Who is a natural poet? The William Wordsworth is a natural poet. And some of his famous poems are The Daffodils, The Solitary Reaper, To the Cuckoo, The Tablestone, The Lines Composed a Few Miles Above the Internet Abbey. Yes, the famous poems. The famous poems are The Daffodils, The Solitary Reaper, To the Cuckoo, The Tablestone, Lines Composed a Few Miles Above the Tinterine Abbey. Okay, the collections, the works of William Wordsworth. So he is a natural poet. He combined, that means joined with the S.T. Corbett and published the lyrical ballads. So that's all about the author. Okay, let's see the poem, The Lines Return in Early Spring. So usually we love the nature. So we can enjoy we can enjoy and go and visit many places, the hill stations, or mountains, or valleys, and any other places we can enjoy a lot, and we can remember the pleasant activities, the pleasant events. Okay, now in this poem, the lines return in early spring, which express the poet's feeling towards nature and the lessons he has learned from it. So in this poem is set in a landscape of beauty. So in this poem is set in a landscape of beauty, a small woodland forested area. So the Wordsworth was inspired into writing this poem. So in this poem, the author is taking rest. That means he was walking at the near of in the village of Alford, near a village of Alford. So when he was walking near a village of Halford, which is it is located in the country of England, in the same city, which is located in United States, but now we are talking about the Alford, which is located in England. Okay, have you understood? So now the author, that means he was walking near the village Halford. So the setting of the poem can be associated with the beautiful scenery of Halford. So the setting of the poem can be associated with the beautiful scenery of Alford. Okay, have you understood? So let's see the poem. The lines written in early spring. Okay, the first poem, the first stanza. There are how many stanzas? The six stanzas. The lines written in early spring is uh, it is a form of ballads. So what is the meaning of ballads? A ballad means it tells a story. It is a called ballads. But it is a quotients. It is called the quotients. That means six quotients. Quotients, it contains the four lines. The tone refers, the quotient refers, it contains the four lines. It is called the quotients. Here, six quotients. That means six stanzas. Each stanza contains the four lines. Each stanza contains the four lines. So six quotients. So quotient means four lines. It contains four lines. It contains four lines. So each stanza has four lines. So in this, the sixth stanza, total are six quatrains. Okay. Okay, let me read the poem. You can follow it. I heard a thousand blended notes while in a grove I sat reclined. In that the sweet mood, when pleasant thoughts bring sad thoughts to the mind. Okay, in the first stanza, according to the author, I heard a thousand blended notes. I, usually the I refer to poet. I refer to the poet. thousand blended notes. Blended. The blended means mixed. Blended means mixed. While in a grove means a small wood or forested area. A small wood or forested area. So it locates in Alford, the village. It locates in Alford. It refers the forested area. I sat reclined. The old-fashioned spelling is sat. In the past tense, it comes sit, sat. So sat. In the old-fashioned, say S-A-T-E. But now we have followed sit, sat, S-A-T. Okay, have you understood? So I sat reclined. A reclined means lean back in your position for rest. Okay, so grove refers a hood, a small hood or forested area. The sat, the old-fashioned word, but now we have followed SAT sat. And then reclined, it refers lean back position of rest. Lean back position of rest. The next, in that sweet mood when pleasant thoughts. The mood, that means the mind of the person, the state or quality of feeling at a particular time. Bring the sad thoughts to the mind. Okay, let's see the message of the first stanza. The summary of the first stanza. While the poet says that while he was sitting, he was sitting in a reclined position on the woodland area. That means woodland of the woodland forested area. He heard a thousand mixed notes. He heard a thousand mixed notes of nature. Okay, the first two lines. So the poet says that he was taking rest in the reclined position. Reclined means it refers lean back position of rest. So reclined position. He sat reclined position. He heard in the on the woodland forested area. On the woodland forested area in Alford. He heard a thousand blended notes. That means he heard the sounds of nature. The sounds of nature. That means a thousand mixed notes. It refers the mixed notes. The sounds of nature refers the sounds of the breeze or the chirping of the birds. So generally, when the plant gives flowers or any other fruits, flowers automatically who came? The birds and the bees. So birds and the bees gathered around the tree. So they made the sounds, a thousand mixed notes. So he could hear the sound of the breeze and the chirping of the birds. They sang songs. So they made the sounds. So it is a thousand blended notes. Okay, have you understood? hindered the sweet mood when pleasant thoughts bring sad thoughts to the mind. So, yes, when the author's mind is filled with the pleasant thoughts, that mood means the state based on the situations. His thoughts was filled with pleasant. His thoughts was filled pleasant thoughts. His mind. So his mind was filled with the pleasant thoughts. Brings sad thoughts to the mind. So when he reminded him of sad thoughts. So when he reminded of sad thoughts, here he refers to the changes that society has undergone around him as sad thoughts. The sad thoughts, it refers, the term refers, the sad thoughts, the term refers around the changes the society has undergone around the changes. The society has changed. The people have changed. So the society has changed. The changes of the society, the sad thoughts. So he refers to the changes that society has undergone around him as sad thoughts. Okay, so have you understood the first stanza? So the poet tells that he sat reclined position on the woodland forested area in Alford. He heard 1,000 mixed notes, the notes of nature, the sounds of the natural. When his mind was filled with the pleasant thoughts, when he reminded the sad thoughts of the mind, because the sad thoughts refers the changes of the society. How did people behave in the society? The changes of the people. So sad thoughts. Have you understood? So இவர் எங்க ஒரு ரிலாக்ஸேஷன் எடுக்கிறாரு அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா என்ன வில்லேஜ் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா அல்ஃபோர்ட் அப்படின்ற அந்த வில்லேஜ்ல குரூப் ஆஃப் ட்ரீஸ். ஸோ குரூப் ஆஃப் ட்ரீஸ் நிறைய அடர்ந்த மரங்கள் இருக்க பகுதி தான் க்ரோவ் அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம். சாட் மீன்ஸ் சிட், இதுதான் சாட் அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம். ரிக்ளைன்டு லீன் பேக் பொசிஷன் ஆஃப் ரெஸ்ட், நல்லா சாஞ்சு படுத்து ஸோ நல்லா வந்து ஒரு டேக் ரெஸ்ட் அப்படின்றத எடுக்கிறார். எங்க அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா என்ன வில்லேஜ் அல்ஃபோர்ட், விச் இஸ் லொக்கேட்டட் இன் இங்கிலாந்து. ஸோ எங்க இருக்கு அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா இங்கிலாந்துல இருக்கு. ஸோ அந்த இடத்துல ஆக்சுவலாக அங்கே எல்லாமே பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா க்ரோ அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டாங்க, குரூப் ஆஃப் ட்ரீஸ். ஸோ அப்போ ஃபுல்லாகவே மரங்கள் இருக்கும்போது அங்கே ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கலாக எங்கே என்ன இருக்கும், அங்கே பேர்ட்ஸ் அந்த பீஸ் எல்லாமே இருக்கும். அட் த சேம் டைம் ஸோ பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா ப்ரீஸ், நல்ல ஒரு பியூர் ஹேர் அப்படின்றது நமக்கு கிடைச்சிருக்கும். ஸோ இந்த சவுண்ட்ஸை தான் என்ன சொல்கிறாங்க, மிக்ஸ்டு நோட்ஸ். பிளண்டட் மீன்ஸ் மிக்ஸ்டு, இந்த மிக்ஸ்டு நோட்ஸ் ஆஃப் நேச்சுரல். ஸோ நேச்சுரல் இயற்கையினுடைய சவுண்ட்ஸ் இதெல்லாம் அவர் அங்கே கேட்டு ரசிக்கிறாரு அப்படின்றத பார்க்கணும். இதெல்லாம் கேட்டு ரசிக்கும் போது அவருடைய மைண்ட் எப்படி இருக்கும், ஸ்வீட் மூடாக தான் இருக்கும். ஸோ அவருடைய மைண்ட் வாஸ் ஃபில்டு வித் பிளசன்ட் தாட்ஸ். எஸ், பட் வென் ஹி ரிமைண்டட் த சேட் தாட்ஸ் ஆஃப் த மேன், எப்போ when he reminded the man, his mind was filled with the sad thoughts. Because சொசைட்டியில் பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா எல்லாமே எப்படி மாறிட்டு இருக்காங்க, நிறைய ஹியூமன் பீயிங்ஸ் மாறிட்டு இருக்காங்க. ஸோ இவங்களை நினைக்கும் போது ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கலாக ரொம்ப ஹாப்பியஸ்டாக ஒரு ப்ளசன்ட் தாட்ஸில் இருந்த மைண்டு அப்படியே சடனாக என்ன ஆயிடுச்சு, பிரிங் அவுட் வந்து கேரி அவுட் பண்ணி வந்தாச்சு சேட் தாட்ஸ். நவ் ஹிஸ் மைண்ட் வாஸ் ஃபில்டு வித் த சேட் தாட்ஸ் பிகாஸ் The changes that society has undergone around him as sad thoughts. Okay, in the next, the second stanza. So let me read the second stanza. You can follow it. To her fair works did natural link the human soul that through me ran, and much it grieved my heart to think what man is made of man. Okay, the next, in the second stanza, to her fair works. Her, usually her, the her refers natural. Her refers natural. To her fair works did natural link. Who did it? Natural. The word did plus link, it is linked. Have you understood? Did plus linked. So it is linked, past tense, linked. So natural linked, the natural communicated to the human soul. The natural linked the human soul. The human soul that through me ran. Through me ran. We change it here. The human soul that ran through me. Ran through me. And much it grieved. Grieved means it is sad, mournful. My heart to think what man is made of man, the injustice of a man. What man is made of man. Okay? So the next, in the second stanza, the poet appreciates the beauty of natural fair works. The fair works refers the natural works. Who has done natural? So the poet appreciates the beauty of nature. The beauty of nature. The nature linked the human soul. The natural soul linked to the human soul. It ran through me. It ran through me. So the poet appreciates the natural for God, like the abilities of linking a human soul to herself. The natural soul is not that different from humanity. The poet feels very sad while thinking about how cruelly man has separated himself from Mother Nature. The Wordsworth states one of his principal philosophies here it is man's innate state, the inborn state, to be close to natural, close to natural. So the poet appreciates the natural, and linking the abilities. That means like the abilities, the human soul to a self. So like abilities of linking to human soul to a self. Nature's soul is not that different from humanity. So nature's soul is not that different from humanity. The next, the poet feels very sad. Grieved means sad. The poet felt very sad while thinking about how cruelly man has separated himself from Mother Nature. So, while thinking about how cruelly man has separated himself from Mother Nature. separated separated himself from Mother Nature. My heart to think what man is made of man, the injustice of man, the injustice of man. So, the cruelly man. So, the cruelly man has separated himself from Mother Nature. So, the people cut the trees. The people destroyed the trees. They have maintained the distance. The greedy people, the ambitious people. So, they have destroyed the places, the forests, the woodland areas. So what man is made of? Man. So how cruelly man, அதுதான் அவங்கள தான் என்ன சொல்றாங்க, cruelly man has separated from, has separated himself from Mother Nature. So by then the poet realizes with the sadness of his fellow being activities towards him, either with pain or with distractions, to man are natural. To man are natural. The next, in this term word, the works, since the one, it indicates job or task or employment. We shouldn't, it does not have a plural form in the sense one, the works. It indicates the job, task, or employment. So we shouldn't say homeworks, schoolworks. It does not have the plural form. And the next, we shouldn't say, I have a lot of works. We should say, I have a lot of work. In the sense two, it has a plural form, like it refers that you have completed the thought and your books, your writing work, or about that we describe works. That means the works of Shakespeare, the completion works of the Damanzi, the next, the completed works of A.R. Rahman. The sense too, it has a plural form. In sense one, it does not have a plural form. So, have you known the classification of the sense one and sense two? So, here the works of natural, the works of natural. Okay, have you understood the second stanza? So, second stanza la inga paathom appadina, he described, he appreciates the beauty of the natural. So, natural beauty, படைப்புகள். ஸோ எப்படின்னா வந்து ஒரு அழகா ஒரு பியூட்டிஃபுல் சீனரியா இருக்கு, இப்படின்னா வந்து நேச்சுரலா படைக்கப்பட்டிருக்கு அப்படின்றத பார்த்து ரொம்ப அப்ரிஷியேட் பண்றார், என்ஜாயபிள் பண்றார். ஸோ இங்க என்னன்னா இந்த நேச்சுரலுக்கும் ஹியூமன் சோலும் லிங்க் ஆகுது. The natural has connected, the natural soul has connected to the human soul. இதுதான் பார்த்துருப்போம். Ran through me, இதன் வழியே எனக்கு பாஸ் ஆகுது. So that is the relationship between natural and the human soul. That same. So அதே நான் சொல்றேன், sad thoughts அப்படின்னு நம்ம பார்த்துருப்போமா? So now we can get the answer in this stanza. So the poet felt very sad. My heart to think what man is made of man. Yes, the cruelly man. The cruelly man has destroyed the places. They destroyed himself from the destroyed the places, are separated from the mother natural. So So man has separated himself from the mother nature. He destroys the places or any pain or any cause to other man. That is a cruelly man. The cruelly man. But the Wordsworth states one of the principal philosophies here, it is a man's innate state, the inborn state to be close to the natural. It is the philosophies of Wordsworth. But இதே நம்ம வேர்ட்ஸ்வர்த்தோட philosophies, one of the principle of the philosophies அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா, the man has closer to the man is closer to the natural பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா, ஸோ நேச்சுரல் கிட்ட தான் அவனுடைய ஒரு நேச்சுரலுக்கும் ஒரு ஹியூமனுக்கும் பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா அந்த அளவுக்கு ஒரு க்ளோசர் இருக்கு அப்படின்றத நம்ம பார்க்கணும். That is the principles of the one of the principles of, that means philosophies of William Wordsworth. So but இங்க கான்ட்ராஸ்டா என்ன நடக்குது அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா, the cruelly man, the man is made of man. So the cruelly man has separated himself from mother nature. So mother nature கிட்ட இருந்து விலகி இருக்கிறாங்க. அப்படின்னா என்ன சொல்றாங்க? Destroyed. ஸோ அழிச்சிடுறாங்க, அடுத்தவங்களுக்கான ஒரு கஷ்டத்தை கொடுக்குறாங்க. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரியான மனிதர்களை நினைக்கும் போது ஸோ ரொம்ப கவலையாக இருக்குது, சேட்னஸாக இருக்குது. ஸோ ப்ளசன்ட் தாட்ஸாக இருந்தது எல்லாமே இப்போ என்னவா மாறிச்சு அப்படின்னா ஒரு சேட்ஃபுல் தாட்ஸாக மாறிடுச்சு அப்படின்றத இந்த ஸ்டான்ஸாக நம்ம பார்க்குறோம். ஓகே, இந்த ரிமைனிங் ஸ்டான்ஸஸ் we can discuss the next class. I hope that you understand the two stanzas. Okay, thank you children.